Hi, I'm Kelly Morgan, coming at you with the Whetstone. I interviewed communications professor Dr. Lynn Lofthouse about her late start to college and fight for animal rights. I had an idea, can you demonstrate what you tell your students to do in your public speaking classes?
Can I demonstrate?
Yeah.
Yes. I want them to look at the audience, make eye contact. That's delivery. Preferably have some kind of a visual aid. I usually assign one because they're doing, remember, informative or persuasive speaking. I want them to have an organized format, which I give them, intro, body, and conclusion, where their body contains all the information. That would be like, I guess, the substance of this interview would be the body.
Mm-hmm.
And and the substance is the research, that they have good research, because they're reporting on some interesting topic, so they would get research on it, like how to keep healthier, or how to prevent getting sick, or something like that. So there would be research, secondary research, that they would go to for that. So that would be it. And I would do an introduction by saying, I would expect them to say something like, "Hi, today I'm giving an interview to representatives of the Whetstone. I'm a professor at Wesley College. My name is Dr. Lynn Lofthouse, and I teach communication studies. And I'm happy to do this interview because I think it really gives me some exposure, my program some exposure, and allows students to get to know who I am and what I have to offer, so I think this is great."
That was great.
Oh, thank you.
And what's your birth date?
March 29, 1948.
And where did you grow up when you were little?
I actually grew up in Westchester County, New York, in a little, White Plains would probably be the area you would hear more. When I got married later on, I lived in Katona, New York. That's Katonah. Now, this is important because there's somebody from the Middle East, I can't remember who's been in the news. He pitched a tent in the yard and all the neighbors were furious in Bedford, remember? I lived in the town right next to it. And you have to understand, these towns are really small.
Yeah.
And I lived next to there, so I was very familiar with that area.
Okay.
So.
And where do you live now?
Now I live in Felton.
Okay.
Which is about 20-25 minutes from here. It's kind of a nice distance because it's easy enough to get here, but I'm not caught up in the hustle and bustle of downtown Dover.
Do you miss your hometown?
Not really. Actually, after that, in between I lived in Arizona, and I lived in Phoenix for 15 years, and so I really miss that. I miss.
Yeah.
Not
Why do you
so.
miss it so much?
I miss it mostly because of the weather and the lifestyle. It was always sunny. It was always warmish. Sometimes more than others. I mean, it's certainly 110 degrees, got on your nerves after a while. But I really loved it. I loved the lifestyle and how comfortable it was. The topography, the beautiful Southwest, the desert, and the sunsets. I liked that. That I do miss. New York, to be honest with you, I never think of. Unless something comes up and I remember, it's interesting that I live near where whoever, I can't remember his name, put up the tent and got all the neighbors so angry.
Would you ever consider moving back to Arizona?
Oh, yes. I intend to move back when I retire.
Okay.
Which I'm sure can't be fast enough for some of my students.
Can you describe your family at home?
My family at home, I have 2 children, but they're grown. They are actually, I can't believe it, I used to say they're about your age to my college students, but now they're in their 30s. I can't believe it. And I'm the grandmother of 4. I have my grandson Austin, who is 15. I have his little brother is AJ, and he's 9. And then my daughter in Arizona, she was lucky. She never left Arizona. She stayed there, went to school, went to work, got married, and she stayed there. And she is now staying home, but she actually is a secondary ed teacher. She stays home with her children, though, and I have a little grandson, Cade, who's 3, and a brand new granddaughter who's 7 months.
Wow.
Yes. And then I have, and I'm a big animal lover, as you know, I have 7 cats right now. No dogs because they passed away, and I've kind of stuck with the cats. I have enough.
What are the names of the cats?
Oh, my God. Well, there's Charlie, and Charlie actually was a stray and kind of found us, and That's how he got his name. I used to say, well, what you doing, Charlie? And don't you have a home? And he wound up never leaving, so I wound up keeping him and kind of claiming him as mine. And then I actually have a very interesting situation. I had a daddy cat that I had taken in. He brought me this little female, and I fed her for a while. And then later on, this is 9 years ago, they brought me their children. And so I have this little family. So he passed away, the daddy, just this year. His name was Topper, and he was just the most amazing cat. He was a tuxedo cat.
Yeah.
But I have his little female, little wife, I call her, Gayla, Gayla, and then her children, there was Lucinda, Lulu, and Thurgood Marshall. Those were her babies.
That's so cute.
They are absolutely precious. Then last year at the SPCA they had a lot of cats, and I took a family of cats to foster, the mother and 4 babies. I was able to get 3 adopted. I was left with the mother and 1 baby. As a matter of fact, it was the only girl in the litter, and I wound up keeping them. So I have them as well. And they're Judy and Jasmine. So right now I'm not taking in any more. The inn is full.
You have the 7 cats at your house right now?
Yes. And I think that's my limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What family members do you live with at your home right now in Felton?
What family members? Pretty much it's just me.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much the family, other than my children coming to visit.
Okay. And where did you go to college?
Went to college I was in Arizona. I went to Arizona State University, where I got my bachelor's degree, was invited to join the communication master's program. That I did, and I just loved it. So I finished my master's, and while I was going for my master's, thought, hey, this would be pretty neat to teach in a college. So I started looking for graduate programs where I could get my PhD, realizing that you needed the terminal degree to teach, and was actually accepted at Penn State University in State College, Pennsylvania. At the time, my father was very ill. He's passed away now, but I thought it was not too far from him. I could be there in about 3 hours or 4 hours. And so I thought that was pretty good to come back to the East Coast and be able to visit him. And it was really good, because from there, I got the job at Wesley, and we're 3 hours away from where my dad was. And I was able to see him a lot, particularly in his final years.
That's good.
But it worked very well. Yeah.
Could you give us the years for when you obtained your different degrees?
Okay, let's see. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 1982. Was it 82? No. 84. I graduated with my master's degree. No, this can't be right. It's hard to remember back.
You could always email us later. We could argue for it.
Maybe I'll take you up on that,
Yeah,
because
okay.
I know my doctorate I actually got while I was employed at Wesley, so that's pretty easy. I got that in 1992. I started here in 1991. I was what you call ABD, all but dissertation. I was working on my dissertation project, and it wasn't completely done. And I actually passed my exams and had my dissertation accepted in February of 1992. I was here at Wesley, so that I remember. The rest of it is a little vague.
Okay.
You have to look it up.
Okay. What did you want to be when you first entered college? What did you want to do?
You know, I didn't know. I kind of entered college. I became a communication major, but journalism. And I didn't think that the time requirements, now remember I had 2 very small children, were going to work for me. So I switched over to being a business major. And I actually graduated from Arizona State University with my bachelor's in business with a marketing emphasis. It was all business administration with an emphasis in different areas there. And I actually had a marketing emphasis. And I no sooner graduated, but I was invited to go into the master's program and thought this would work well, since I really loved going to school, and took on that. But I didn't really, if you're asking did I have a career in mind, no.